Yes, I have one.
Oh my god, that was such a killer session last week. I can't remember the last time a combat took almost the entire session itself. I mean, I know it took some time to like infiltrate into the ship, but like once that battle kicked off, it felt like it was all over the place. Mostly Karina running away a lot, which is always fun to watch. And everybody leveled up, correct? Everybody leveled up? Okay.
Now
are we officially level 5 now?
Level 6.
Level 6.
Oh, we made it to level 6.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anybody get anything new or interesting at level 6?
Yes.
Got my aura, my paladin aura.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I got that.
I get the opposite of that.
What's that?
A bunch of crows materialize and terrorize people.
Yes.
Opposite vibes.
Channeling your inner Laudna.
I figured out how to tinker with stuff,
Ooh.
so I got some fun cantrips now.
Whoa!
Because you're dipping an artificer, right?
Yep, artificer now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to see how that combines with your gunner ability, right?
I'm the ranger, but using firearms. Yep.
Yeah, instead of a bow. Yeah.
Yep. And I picked up the mending cantrip so I can fix my guns reliably.
Yeah, considering didn't you have back-to-back jams last session?
I did.
Your rifle and your pistol, right?
Yep.
They both jammed. That's right.
Yep.
I remember that. Interesting.
But now I don't have to worry about ammo either. Per the rules is written, I guess artificer doesn't have to focus on buying ammo.
Yeah, I mean, has anybody ever really worried about that? Not
I've
really.
been tracking it actually. I was
really well. That's
I was down to 2 shots left with the big rifle.
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So where we last left off, the team, having kind of gone off to do their own thing, and then circled back after a night's festivities, realized that in the middle of the night that Melody and her companion, who she was spending the evening out with and having a good time, she was clearly converting her to the party cult, found themselves captured by the Iron Collective on the ship. It would appear that these dwarves are in the business of collecting fey creatures and then taking them somewhere. We are still unsure as to where that destination might be, but Karina managed to pilfer some documents from the cabin, as well as learn or find some maps, documents that were in the captain's quarters. But as the team decided to use both a distraction and a method of infiltrating the ship to be able to locate Melody, not only did they locate Melody, and what is the name of the gal that you were traveling with? That was
Elith? Ilith or Elith?
Yep.
We also found Marina, the maid.
Yes, Marina and Islet. So finding Marina, the maid of Karina's family, and then obviously recovering Islet from her capture, which was probably because she was connected to Melody, and it was just maybe a casualty of the reason for why they took Melody. Not entirely sure. But the team successfully freed all the fey creatures, as well as freed Marina and Ilith, and the team managed to extract themselves from the ship, defeating a good portion of the guards as well as the captain, but also starting a fire within the black powder magazine of the ship itself. At first, the first fire and explosion got things going, but when the fire descended down into the lower deck, finding the remaining black powder stored below, a huge explosion then not only engulfed the entirety of the ship and the portion of the Aerie Spire that the ship was on, but it began to arc fire and explosions off towards other ships. And the team found themselves drifting into the night of the Aerie Spire with a very large and orange-yellow glow in the background. It's still late at night. Melody and the others have been recovered. Brightbeak has successfully allowed the other Fey creatures to sneak away into the spires as well. But the 7 of you are now gathered in the shadows of the Airy Spire, watching the spire burn. What would you guys like to do?
The professor is just frantic, just trying to go out and put out as much of the fire as he can.
As soon as you try to get near it, it is so hot. It's burning so hot. Getting near it like singes the edges of your feather. It's impossible to get to. And currently, from your guys' hiding spot, you see no one attempting to try to approach the fire. Mostly people are evacuating the nearby structures, the buildings. You're watching as those ships that can are slowly beginning to lift away so they don't get caught up in the fire as well.
Can I use control flames, which allows me to extinguish flame within the cube to just kind of inch a little bit of the fire backwards from us?
Ooh, that's a
I
good
would
idea.
say the fire's not quite close to you guys yet because you've retreated into the spire itself. This is the area of the stanchions and the things that kind of hold the ships in place when they're not being used. Unfortunately, control flame is like a 5-foot cube area of effect. This is overwhelming. This makes the fire in the Smolder Spire, I believe, or the Ember Spire, seem minor in comparison. This is a massive fire. There's at least a dozen ships aflame. 3 or 4 of the stanchions that hold the ships in place are on fire. And just now, you're beginning to hear the sounds of the bells tolling, calling the wardens and other defenders of the city to hopefully come out and try to put these flames out.
So Karina will turn into a Narcocra and just fly around and see if people need to be lifted out and try and use control flame to help.
Give me a perception check as you look around the fringes of the fire. And I will need a con save because of the intensity of the heat.
20.
+4, but
20.
Come on.
Give me a con save with a +4.
And also because I'm using control flame, do I get any kind of help?
Just approaching the fire alone is demanding the con save. It is hot.
Understood. Okay, so 15 + 4 is 19.
It's intense. You're able to resist the flames for now, but you figure the longer you're here, the worse it's going to get. You can see dozens of people down below trying to escape the nearby structures. And I'll say that you kind of fly down in your Aarakocran form along the edge of the flame and the heat, and you kind of guide them into the alleyways and streets in between the different spire buildings to help get them away from the fire as best you can. So you guys are watching as Karina's doing that. Is anybody else doing anything?
Are there a lot of injured people I see around there?
I would say yes. You both at the edge of the fire and people who are kind of like limping out of structures, or you could see burnt kind of like clothing and skin as people are coming out of structures that are just beginning to kind of collapse in on themselves. So you can see at the edge of the fire, there are injured people kind of trying to get away from it.
I only have 2 spell slots left, but I'm still going to use them to try to heal people that are injured.
Okay. That brings you down into the edge of the fire as well. I'll need a con save, please.
I'm gonna take a look out at like try and clear around the structures. Like if we can knock off pieces of things that would prevent the fire from like just shooting at stuff, because that's all I really can do right now.
Right.
Stuff. But I'm looking for like trying to move things away, like break stuff away from the fire to try and contain where it's going.
Okay. Give me a perception check, Foreign, as you're organizing that process. Yep. Eritrea, what'd you get for your con save?
13.
13. Take 8 points of fire damage.
Was he within, was he within 10 feet of me or Professor Jalbatros when he made the save?
I'm okay with that, yeah.
So he can add... Eric, what do you add in your aura? Mine would be +4 to your save. Okay, so you can add 4 to your save.
+4.
So 17 will save, so you do not take fire damage.
Okay. So I got a 14 now with that. Or it's just adding a straight 4.
It's just adding straight 4, yeah.
So Karina is guiding people to safety into the alleys and in between the structures that are not on fire. You can see Eritrea is using the last of his power of divinity to kind of heal people as they come stumbling out of the fires and guiding them towards where Karina is sending people safely away. Foreign, what'd you get with your perception check?
16.
16. There is a strangely shaped tower sitting atop a very large portion of one of the structure spires, and it appears to be a water tower. You can see clay like a ceramic piping, like back in medieval times, they would do a lot of things with clay and terracotta style construction. It looks like there are many different kind of terracotta pipes leading down into the stanchions and down into the loading docks of the Aerie Spire. These feel like good targets. You could break those with shots and possibly spill the water out into the fire.
Yep, that's what I'm definitely gonna do.
Okay.
And I'll take my time to line up the shots real well, and yeah.
Keeping in mind you have 2 shots left in your rifle.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll say with that perception, I used to know how to talk. I'll say with that perception check, you notice a cluster of the pipes are kind of all tightly bound together before they go off into different directions. Give me 2 shots. Take the 2 shots and see if you can take out that section and see how much water will come out.
All right. One is, let me get my modifier. I think it's a +7. +9. Okay, so that's a 27 and a dirty 20.
All right, go ahead and roll damage for both.
Okay. Get my die back out. Sorry. Those are oh no. D12. Gotta get the right ones. Hey. One is 14 damage. The other one is 9 damage.
It had 20 hit points. So after your second shot, the whole thing shatters outward. You watch as the section of the water tower now begins to split apart, and now a steady fountain of water is like spraying, like rooster tailing out into the center mass of the fire, kind of creating pathways and diminished effect of the fire. People that were trapped are now able to move into the water spraying out so that they can avoid the flame and avoid the damage. Professor Jalbatros and Melody, what are you two doing?
I was going to see, I don't know if this is, how is this? I was going to see if I could use fireplay to dim the flames, just kind of make it less intense around me, and just try to go in. And but the professor is feeling really guilty about this, so I'm trying to save as many people as I can. Like I want to either like run into the.
Well, what I'll say is that you recognize that Foreign has created an advantage here for you. He's almost created a column pathway into the fire because of the way the water is like spraying out and into the fire. You know, it's not going to last that long. It was once that water tank's empty, things are going to get a little bit rough. But you kind of descend down into that gap, and you kind of put up the fire blade barrier as a way to kind of avoid the potential hazards of the flame. And these blades are swirling around you and kind of creating concussions into the flame walls along the edge of where the water is spraying out into the fire. Give me a perception check, if you would, please, Professor Jalbatros.
Oh, the thing I'm amazing at. That's a 4.
4. You are struggling to see anything through the fire, the smoke. You actually feel someone bump into you as they come, stumbling out of the flame and the smoke. And that's when you realize people are seeing your orbiting blades and are like running towards where they can see you. You've almost like created a beacon by accident. You can't really see them because of smoke and the flame, but they seem to be able to see you. Before long, Melody, you can see almost like a Pied Piper effect with Professor Jalbatros. As he's floating away from the fire, his blades are spinning around and people are stumbling out of the flames and kind of like following him. Those that are affected worse are being treated by Eritrea, and then Karina is like doing traffic control and guiding people through, you know, the different streets and structured areas that are currently not on fire. What is Melody doing?
Melody is going to curse because she's had a very rough night and her fun has been ruined. And she's gonna use Find Steed to summon a stunningly beautiful unicorn named Giselle.
Nice.
And
is her hair done?
Yeah, her hair is like flawlessly curled all the time. Her mane is glorious.
And it never changes shape when she's running around.
Yeah. And I think she's gonna jump on Giselle and like start running up the street, like shouting for help, basically, like trying to get more like police or whatever firefighter attention on this.
Yeah. With the Wardens now beginning to arrive, they unfortunately look to the water tower as a place to hook up their ability to have water get onto the fire, but they can already see that it's spraying out after. They're not really sure how it got damaged, but it's currently spraying out onto the fire. The Wardens, for the most part, are using their ability to guide people away from the fire. And this goes on for about an hour. Melody, you see it first because you're kind of like looking and guiding those that are able to help in the direction of the fire. You look up to see a very large brass dragon fly over, like in a quick kind of wing swept, like just enough to your hair kind of billows a bit from the percussion of the dragon coming through this part of the airy spire. You then watch as the dragon lands on a nearby tall like tower that looks down on the airy spire, and you watch as the brass dragon changes form and is now in the form of, my notes are open and yet here I struggle. Where are they? Where did they go? Brain fart. Jamansa Ord. I was having a brain fart on that one. And you're looking up to see Jamansa Ord now standing on top of the tower. They are beginning to cast spells, and you're watching as like cone-shaped frost spells are being kind of like drifted down towards the top of the fire. You then watch as a tiefling, a blue tiefling that's on the edge of being a senior citizen, kind of on the tower beside her as well, kind of doing the same thing. Running right by you and the unicorn, you hear this much older looking orc just go, "Oh, nice unicorn," and then keeps running by you as Ford like goes running in and begins kind of helping and rescuing people and pulling people out of the fire as well. It's a long night. This goes on for hours. Everybody gets a point of exhaustion. The fire is finally put out just as the sun is coming up over the edge of the horizon.
So would that be 2 points for me? Because I didn't sleep the night before.
Yeah, that would be 2 points for you. That's true.
Yeah. Because I was needing to sleep this night.
You're now watching as some of the clergy of the different temples and chapels have arrived. Triage is being set up. Healing is being done to the best of everybody's ability. The fire is mostly out, just smoldering from what you could tell. 12 ships burnt to the ground, or burnt to their beam. And because the magical broomstone remains in a magical effect, you could see dozens of small broomstone engines just free floating in their stanchions as the decayed remains of the ships are collapsing down the long falling distance to the bottom of the spire. And just the magic engines are still kind of just hovering there, functioning, but everything else that they were attached to is burnt away, fallen away down into the bowels of the base of the Airy Spire and the wilds down below. You can see Wardens gathering up those that didn't make it and begin to cover them up in kind of linen sacks to do the accounting of the dead, the injured. Some of the Chandei Quorum representatives covered in soot and smoke are here. It is a busy kind of back and forth of this kind of post-traumatic event of the Airy Spire nearly burning to the ground. But no one calls you out. No one seems to. They just assume that you're people acting of good faith.
Was I able to keep track of where Marina is through the chaos?
Yes, Marina and Elith were working with Eritrea down below. They were helping the Wardens guide the injured towards him. He would then do everything he could to either use his spells or his divine power to kind of help people, his medical abilities as well. A general feeling of just forget about what caused it, but now that feeling of just participating in helping in the response and help people recover from what happened. But we'll say at some point, all 7 of you gather over by where Eritrea was working, and you look to see about 32 bodies that did not make it, and there are hundreds that are injured, but they're alive because of what everybody did. And now you're seeing that kind of post activity of, you know, people trying to get in there and get their stuff or try to figure out what happened to the ships, and that kind of little bit of pause and trauma of fire's out. Now what do we do? And it's just kind of a very stunned crowd of people doing their best. Early morning, no long rest yet. What would you guys like to do next?
So, one thing that I would like to do is, you said that there were 32 people that did not make it.
Correct.
This is unlikely, but I want to see if I can go up to them, and on the off chance that maybe a tiny bit of divine favor will work, I want to see if I can lay on hands to them and give them just a tiny spark of life to try to, bring as many people back as possible.
You guys watch as Professor Jabaltros goes over to the linen bags that are various sizes, and Professor Jabaltros is going through one by one, putting his hands and seeing if there's any kind of divine spark left in any of these poor souls that have perished in the fire.
Born is like leaning on his rifle and nodding off, like struggling to stay awake. But he's like I've got it cupped like against my head, and it's just one of those. Like, he'll kind of settle back in for a second. Definitely dead with the remote, kind of drifting off.
Oh.
Yeah.
I go behind Foreign and start giving him a back massage, just like a dude, like the dude massage of just like rubbing the shoulders really uncomfortably.
Yeah,
bro, you're carrying a lot of stress these days.
I love it. Perfect. D6 inspiration for that one. That's dude massage does not come up very often.
I have so many inspiration that I haven't used.
Share.
Oh no, what's this? Karina, do you have a couple of D6s?
Oh, what a coincidence, I guess. I would like to see if somebody can open I believe we were able to get out of the ship a couple of documents in a metal box.
Yeah, you took an iron box out with you, and you had scooped up a bunch of documents and maps that were on the captain's table into a nearby bag. You have both those items, yeah.
I think Corina is going to try and get everyone in Marina back home, make sure the other Corina is okay, and see what we can figure out about the ship and what happened and who took Melody and all the other Fae.
Okay.
Is Elith still there, or did she
She's still there. No, she's still there. In fact, she's kind of stripped down to her her priestess gear, because she had just kind of nighttime gear over that, and that's all gone. And she is watching Professor Jalbatros, and there's a bit of a pity look on her face, and she's kind of going and doing what Eritrea was doing earlier, where she is going to the wounded and applying whatever assistance that she can do as well. Mm-hmm. As being a priestess of Bahamut still comes first. I mean, yeah, she's an inquisitor of Vasselheim, but she's also a priestess of Bahamut. She's obligated to aid those that are in need.
I think Melody wants to go up to her and be like, I swear this is not what happens when you party. This is the first time I've been kidnapped. But she reads the room and she's like, it's not appropriate right now.
I love it.
Maybe I'll just approach her and just be like, hey, you doing okay? That was kind of scary.
Give me a persuasion check, if you would, please.
Okay. Well, that is a 5, but what do I add to it? It's a 5. I add a 7, so that's a 12 persuasion.
She takes a deep breath and kind of steps away from the person showing some pretty extensive burns. Mm-hmm. And she kind of comes towards you. That's my own fault, I think. I should know better. Stick to what I know, not what I don't know. Had I not been involved, and had we not been out drinking and having a good time last night, maybe none of this would happen. You wouldn't have been captured. I wouldn't have been captured.
No.
Things would have been fine.
That's bullshit. Why would you blame yourself? We got captured by really sucky guys. We should be able to go out on the town and have a good time without being worried about being kidnapped. That's not our fault. It's just unacceptable what they did. It is not your fault.
I can't ignore the fates, Melody. The fates are still a thing. Divine understanding of what to expect is still something to worry about. I just, you can see that she's creeping into the edges of shock. The trauma of the entire event. I mean, she was kidnapped alongside you.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that they were just probably going to pitch her over the edge of the ship once they took off.
Yeah.
Because they were not interested in her. They were interested in all the Fae creatures that were captured. And on top of that, big chunk of the Ares Spire has been damaged and destroyed as an outcome of this. There's a general feeling as you're kind of watching her. She's, she almost died twice.
Yeah.
From her perspective, and she's in shock. She's descending into shock.
I'm gonna kind of put a hand on her shoulder and shake it very lightly and say, if you hadn't come out with me, would you have learned about that trafficking ring?
Guess
maybe Bahamut wanted you to know about it. This is the kind of thing that you work to eradicate, right?
I would think so. It should be. I guess so.
If you were sitting at home in your books, maybe I would have been on the ship alone.
She seems to contemplate this explanation for a bit. She gives you a very weak, kind of unsure smile, but, well, I know, but I think I'll just get lost in my work for a bit. More people to help. I'll I'll find you later. And she just kind of walks away and starts helping others that are being brought out. As you're watching her, you can see beyond where she is. You can see Jamansa Ord, Jester, and Ford are having a conversation about something. And then they seem to walk off with a group of wardens that are around them. Leaning up against a stack of burnt crates on the edge of the fire, you see one of the dwarves. Barely alive, patched up, treated by one of the many wardens probably, but one of the dwarves that hightailed it out of there must have got caught up in the fire, and he is leaning up against the crate, his eyes coming in and out, his eyes blinking and kind of rolling back into his head. He is looking incredibly rough, but he's still alive.
Do I see any of my friends close by?
They're all behind you. They're all like within 20, 30 feet of you, either helping, doing something, but you're closer as a group at this point. Because Karina was, you know, making sure that Marina was safe. So she's keeping an eye on Marina. So you guys are within close proximity of each other.
I'm going to, if I can catch one of the group's eyes, I'm going to like catch their eyes, point at the guy, and then I'm going to go try and drag him into an alley. Like I'm going to grab it by the neck and drag him into an alley.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay. Karina, anything? Are you participating in this or?
Yeah, he's in a pretty weak.
Oh yeah.
Can I try and do friends on him to cast cantrips? Friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him wisdom disadvantage. Give him wisdom disadvantage. That's a natural 20 and a 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, you. But he is so weak and barely conscious. Like he just feels like a little bit dopey, like a little bit drugged up. You know, like he basically is compliant at this point. You watch his Melody, Forn, Eritrea. Are you participating in the questioning of one of the surviving dwarfs at this point?
I'm just observing, very moderately. Just
judgmental.
I don't agree. Yeah, I'm just kind of. My hands are.
We listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, Karina casts the spell. Professor Jalbatros is still trying to find someone that might still be alive, so he's busy over there. But Foreign, you and Melody, you see Karina cast a spell. You immediately help the dwarf up, and the four of you lead the dwarf into like a little quiet alleyway that's obscured from all the kind of chaos going away. Yeah. But he's compliant because of the spell effect, so he's
My
not.
seat's been stolen. I can't do this.
Get another chair, man.
No.
Stealing from a cat is heresy.
I know it's literally illegal. Oh shit! I'm a paladin. No.
But yeah, the four of you guide, leaving Marina to kind of stand alongside Eritrea on the edge of the alleyway, as she doesn't seem to want to participate in this either. She's unsure as to what to expect and what's going on. She's pretty traumatized from the event as well. She's not even really sure how she ended up in there. But the four of you are now standing. 3 of you are standing very close to the dwarf, who's now like sitting on the ground, leaning up against one of the walls. Eritrea is a little bit further back, watching you guys while keeping an eye on Marina and keeping another eye on Professor Jalbatros off in the distance, as he continues to work with the hopefully trying to find someone that might still be alive. The dwarf is groggy, kind of, hey, what the fuck happened? What? He's kind of looking around and looks at Karina. Oh, you're safe. Oh, my good friend, you're safe. Thank God. Thank the gods you're safe. Yeah.
So what were you doing there?
We were taking on an order of fey creatures to take back to our boss.
Who's your boss?
Oh, right, we call him Spike for short. Big Minotaur fella. Has big horns and pays really good for fey creatures. We're not really sure what he does with them, but one could use their imagination.
Is this Minotaur based in the Spires?
Oh, no. I'm not really sure where he is. There's a small little lookout spot that we take our cargo to. It's not much, really. It's just more of a landmark. We call it the steam pile. A kind of broken down bit of rock and desert that emits a bit of a steam from it. We just meet him there. He has his airship. We have ours. We transfer the cargo onto his ship. He goes his way, and we go our way.
I would look at the documents I have. Do any of them have a map included?
Give me investigation as you start looking in the bag at the documents and the maps.
And as a friend, I tell him, also answer to them, they're your friends too.
Oh, okay. Not really how this works, but I'll take it under advisement, my friend.
We're so good friends. Oh, that's 25.
25. You do. You find a map. Damn you and your 25. Well, I thought I already had it open, and I realized I had inadvertently closed it, like I tend to do, rifling in between different images and maps. Where are you? Up there it is. Pull that up. You are looking at a regional map of the Odoran Wilds. There is a little section of the map that focuses on a place called Gorodire, north of Jrusar. It's right tucked into a forested valley area. And next to the Gorodire mark, you could see a little legend, like somebody had inked it in next to the Gorodire steam pile. And you get the feeling that maybe it's a volcanic region in that area, and maybe that's why they call it that. Maybe it's a geyser. You're not really sure. But looking at the map, they at least have a map in what you confiscated that shows where their drop-off point was, where their meetup point is.
Do any of us have minor illusion or major illusion?
Nope.
Not me.
This is a pretty divine group, Karina.
I can press the digitate.
I can do the sound.
Well, so it depends on what you want to do with that illusion. I've picked up some new skills about making kind of drawings and images show up on items.
Well, we have all met a Minotaur who is a trader of exotic animals. My question is it the same person? If we can get an image of him, maybe we can get a confirmation whether or not it is.
Right. Just a second. Let me check mine.
Who's the Minotaur that you met?
I thought we did.
Yeah, the guy, is that shopkeeper? Was he a Minotaur, or was he? No, I thought he was like an orc. Okay.
I thought I remembered a Minotaur. Never mind.
No, it's fine. This is the first time you've heard the name Spike. This is the first time you heard the mention of this Minotaur. You don't really have anything to connect to him at this point.
How do you get how many Fays have you traded?
Or I don't know, 200-300 maybe.
Where do you find them?
Everywhere. Sometimes you find them in the wilds. Sometimes you can find them on the edges of the Hellcatch. There was a little sanctuary of them that we stumbled across and managed to capture quite a few and get them over to Spike for a hefty toll.
Where?
Well, I don't remember.
You better start remembering.
I wish I could. I don't.
I kick him in the head.
Oh! For fuck's sake. Which immediately breaks the spell's effect.
No!
Oh, shit, it's you. And then he looks up at Melody and goes, money bags. He's like barely alive, and he's already thinking about what he can earn. He's like, those horns, the fur, the hooves.
I take out my pistol, and I stick it under his chin, like directly under his chin.
Oh, hello.
Now, I suggest you start.
No market for you.
I suggest you start answering questions quickly before your life ends quickly.
Can I do friends twice, or is that too much?
Is it a cantrip or a spell?
A cantrip.
Absolutely, he can make a wisdom. He's not disadvantaged though because he's partially, he's not as wonky as he was. That is a 16 plus 3 is a 19 on his wisdom save.
I'll cast Charm Person on him.
Nice. Another wisdom save?
15. Yeah.
Shit, I just rolled another 16. So yeah, 16 plus 3, another 19.
I'm gonna try to lamely do a persuasion check on him and just pull out a piece of copper and say, "Do you want more of this?"
I am so intimidated by that. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say. No, I don't want copper, and I'll be fine. Just turn me into the Wardens and do your duty.
Oh,
you think you're going to the Wardens?
You wish.
We ain't friends with the Wardens around here.
Well, that's too bad because murder's illegal.
Right, they'd have to know you're dead.
That was kidnapping.
You died in the fire.
Oh no, that wasn't kidnapping. That was acquisition. Okay. I mean, everybody knows that they aren't real people.
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast his face real quick.
Yeah.
There's like an explosion of light. It like his whole face is like fried, and his dead body just kind of lies back.
I didn't mean to kill him.
He's like,
no. I
didn't mean to kill him. I just wanted to. Okay, I was being dramatic. I
was honestly maybe about to do it.
we can torture him.
I'll say he's currently unconscious but stable.
Okay, I think.
We don't need him alive, and we have a convenient place to put him to let him die. So I'm more than comfortable to disappear this fella.
I guess you're right.
That sanctuary he's referencing sounds like the place that my parents live. So I want.
So maybe we don't.
I want more information out of him.
Right.
Why don't we tie him up, store him, and Karina and I can burn through all our spells until he's charmed again.
Well, look, perhaps we don't do that right here.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm full out of spells.
Yeah, no, I say, let's torture him a bit, make it really uncomfortable for him, charm him, and then whoever has the most creative way to kill him gets the pleasure of doing so.
Or we can turn him over to the authorities after that.
Look, this sounds like he's...
what happened? I thought you wanted blood.
This sounds like he's friendly with the authorities. Look, we have the portable hole that was at one point full of dead bodies. I have no problem throwing another dead body into the hole.
Let's get the information out of them. Then I maintain that the person with the most creative kill gets to do it.
Can you talk to the dead guy? Does he have to be alive?
Unfortunately, I still don't have that spell. I've been waiting.
I look over at Eritrea with this come on, man, side eye kind of glance.
Ryan. You're muted.
You're on mute.
What did you ask me? Sorry.
Oh, I was asking if somebody could talk to dead people, and everybody was like, and I kind of look over at you like, well,
kinda.
I mean, not right this second, obviously.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're all spent right now. But
I think that doesn't the dead person have to be in a mood to cooperate?
It's not that they have to be in a mood to cooperate. They are capable of lying if they choose to.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're speaking to someone that you killed, they're probably not going to cooperate, or they're probably going to possibly lie to you. They are capable of doing that, but you never know till you try.
I can. If we need that assistance, I can.
Okay, I think Melody's plan sounds sound for now. And yeah, then she's gonna slap him a few times over while he's unconscious for the fun of it.
That's 3 critical hits.
20.
that just means he's dead. Dead.
Worth it.
So you guys putting him in the portable hole?
Well, we're not killing him. I think we just want to take him somewhere where we can store him until we can get a long rest.
Okay. Professor Jalbatros, you find it's kind of creepy, but it works. Through your whole effort, one of the bags begins to move after you do lay on hands as they get 4 points of healing. Seems to be the only one that you were successful in doing. You quickly unstitch the bag to allow the person inside to kind of sit up. And as she does sit up, it is this youngish looking female half-orc, like tight crew cut hair, a bit of the tribal body tattoo. She's wearing the burnt remains of a leather smock. She almost looks like maybe she's a smith or a smithy. And she just lets out a cough. And like a puff of smoke kind of billows out of her mouth. And she sits up and looks right at you. Oh, well, I've died. I've died. A bird is going to eat me. I knew it. I'm dead.
No, it was a mere run thing, but...
I can barely hear you.
That's somewhat intentional, but it was a mere run thing. You made it. I don't know what really to say. It's been quite an evening.
She stands up, kind of wobbly. She looks at you, looks around at the distraction. I've got to go home. And she just starts walking away in just like a random direction. Just kind of slouched over, looking exhausted and barely recovered.
Do I have anything I can do to help her out? Unfortunately, I used all my spell slots, so I can't do anything to her.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I have some first level spell slots. So I will go ahead and give her a Cure Wounds and a Shield of Faith, just to like get her on her feet.
Yeah. You kind of run up to her, you stop her, and as you grab onto her arm, you cast Shield of Faith and Cure Wounds. You watch as some of her burns begin to heal, and her back's a little bit straighter, her shoulders are a little bit straighter, and she looks over at you at her shoulder, and thank you, Seagull. I appreciate it. And she walks off.
A
little bit delirium, you don't know. I mean, she could still have a little bit of delirium going on.
Can you try to find whatever warden I think is in charge?
Yeah, give me a perception or investigation as you look around.
Oh, those skills I'm amazing at. Actually, my investigation is pretty okay. Oh, actually, okay. That's a 17. 17 investigation.
17. You're looking around. You can see a group of wardens in the center of like all the catastrophe. You can see one particular warden. He's quite tall. He seems to be talking to the other wardens who are going off in different directions. Kind of plain features, but you could tell that he is in command, and kind of sees you approaching him. So, if you don't mind, please, we're evacuating the remainder of the stanchions. Perhaps you should leave as well. You look like you could. What can you do?
What can I do to help?
I don't know. What can you do?
I've been shepherding the wounded that have to areas for treatment. I've been trying to pull people out of buildings. I've been trying to create a field of less intense flame. Just anything to get some people, to get as many people as possible out of this.
Give me a persuasion check.
Let me see what my persuasion is. I think it's actually pretty good. Oh, okay. That's a 23.
23. Well, you look terrible. You look like you've already been doing this all night long. I've got enough people to handle it. Are you sure you want to continue?
You don't. This is my fault. I was too careless. I never meant for this, but
the captain gets to full height and he's all, "What do you mean this is your fault?"
The ship, they were trying to steal. They were stealing fey creatures. I caused the
Seamus,
flame.
would you come here, please? You watch as like a group of 4 of the wardens come over. Listen, what's your name?
Professor Thaddeus Horatio Lifelike Albatross.
Amazing. You look exhausted, yet you had the wherewithal for all 5 of your names. Well, Professor, I'm going to need you to go with these 4 gentlemen for now.
Of course, anything they need.
And the rest of you watch as Professor Albatross is led off by 4 wardens towards a cart. He's loaded up into the cart, and you watch as the cart heads over to one of the gondola landing stanchions.
Where's the professor going?
I don't know.
Shit.
I'll jump on Giselle and go running or like galloping over to try and get the cart. Excuse me.
How long does Giselle last for?
Well, Giselle, I think, lasts until I dismiss her because it's a fine spell.
Yeah, same thing as mine as a break roll.
You now imagine this through the catastrophe of this burnt down, like here's this perfect unicorn, this perfect satyr with a bit of smudge on her cheek from the effort.
A little
prance through the crowd, gets up to the wagon, and there's 4 guards in the back of the wagon and a warden up on the buckboard who's driving the horse over towards the gondola. He pulls in on the reins as you kind of come up alongside him, and something we can do for you, miss.
Excuse me, sir. Why are you taking him away?
Captain Payne had requested that he be held for further questioning. He just admitted to burning the place down.
What? I'm gonna look at Professor Albatross.
That's not what I said. I said that this was my fault, which in a way it is. I should have been more responsible, but
you see, you heard it yourself, miss. Move along. Hits the reins, and then the cart arches and keeps going forward.
I think Melody's like trying to judge in the moment. Is this like a thing where Professor Albatross is like, this is something I need to do to atone, or is this like he said something that he shouldn't have said, and now
as you stare at Professor Albatross being led away, I'll let him determine what you would see when he's being led away on the cart.
No, the professor is like really, really, really like they don't. They're cognizant of like they did not plan. This was not an intentional act, but like this is something that they are at least in part responsible for. So they're like, no, I meant to do this. Awful good.
He looks very dejected and very kind of downtrodden, just staring at his feet as he's being led away in the cart.
I think Melody is going to let him go because it seems like it's something he feels like he has to do.
Fair enough. You watch as the cart reaches the gondola landing. They lead him out, and it's the gondola that leads up to the Chandei Quorum.
Shit.
And you're watching as it's just kind of taking off and heading off in that direction.
Where's the professor?
He told the guards that the fire was his fault. It felt like he wanted to go.
As part of a scheme?
All right, D6 inspiration. That was pretty epic. Yeah,
so good.
That was awesome. That was epic.
I don't understand what would possibly make him feel guilty.
I think he just, I don't know. Like, I couldn't see what was going on. Like, I don't know what he had anything to do with it. He seemed like he felt terrible.
I can relate. Okay, I can relate. Did you see the professor with the bodies?
Yeah.
He
thinks it's his fault.
Yeah. Like I said, I can relate. Right now, I think the best thing for us to do is to try and get some kind of rested up, though. I'm barely on my feet right now.
Can Eritrea maybe send him a message? Maybe Forn can talk some sense into him.
I am exhausted of spell slots.
He's got my note.
I agree with resting.
He's got one of my tokens on him, right? And I'll just and you know I've got the badge of the quorum now. I can get in the area. I can get up there and get to him, but I can't do it like this. I can't do it in this state right now.
Okay.
Is there a place we can rest? Is there some sort of inn here that would take us? Or
let's just go back to our house.
Let's
just go back to our house.
We do have.
Do you guys have this?
We do have another companion with us.
Do we have any rugs we can just kind of, or maybe we can just pretend like we're his friends?
Should we just rope him up on Giselle's back? Just, kind of like, asleep over the back of the saddle.
Can you imagine? I mean, there's so much chaos around you. You're not even sure anyone would notice.
Who cares? Like, probably we're taking care of it.
They're definitely going to notice a unicorn with a bundled up body on its back. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Look, I think Forn and Eritrea can weekend at Bernie's him down there. It's kind of like between us.
I'm waving.
We look like shit.
Hey, we're usually the two people with the lowest performance scores in the group.
Well, they're also the two tallest, and he's a dwarf. So,
well, I mean,
I'm hunched under his back, just like this.
I pictured that he was like on both of our shoulders, like his feet just aren't touching the ground, but his arms are around us. Like we're just.
Of course.
With the chaos, I'll say it's pretty feasible. I mean, you pull it off pretty well. You lose track of the gondola that Jabotros is on, but you guys find the gondola that will take you down to the Fate Walk Bridge and bring you back to the Prancing Centaur. Go ahead, Karina.
Well, I was going to say, I do need a second to talk with Marina before we get home to explain to her that we found...
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll say you guys are currently on the gondola making your way down towards the Fate Walk Bridge. And Karina, you pull Marina aside and she's, what is it? What's going on? Where have you been? Why haven't you been at home?
I catch her up very earnestly about everything that's happened. But like the big thing is, you're not going to believe it. Our dreams and prayers and hopes have finally come through. Karina Prime is back. And she's alive and she's well. And we're going to get her to a safe place.
Well, you better get her out of the city.
What happened?
Talion's people arrested her family 4 days ago.
What? Talion's?
Calion, Lord Calion.
How did he... Why? On what grounds?
I don't know. They arrived at the house. Everybody was either arrested or told to leave. I hid. And when everyone was gone, I tried to collect all the family heirlooms and things I thought that they would need. And then these dwarves arrived. They started to clean out the place. They were looking for something. They were looking for, they claimed, evidence of some secret haven or possible location that they felt was important to them. And they caught me and threw me in the bowels of their ship. I've been there for the last 4 days.
How long ago did we try to reach her? Like, how many days ago?
Like a couple days ago, like 2 or 3 days ago. Yep.
So it kind of like makes sense that we wouldn't be able to message her when she was in that space with a magical...
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh no. Well, we have plans. We're gonna get her out of here. We're gonna get you out of here too. We're all gonna get out of this ridiculous nonsense place, and we'll find something better.
She kind of... So, you're sure that we found the real Karina then? The one that's been missing for so long?
Yes.
And where has she been all this time?
I tell her everything I know.
She patiently listens to it, although the entire gondola ride down to the Fate Walk Bridge. You guys come off the Fate Walk Bridge. Melody has got the unicorn in tow with the bundle on the back of it. And, Fourn's like barely on his feet. Everyone looks exhausted. They look horrible. You come into the front of the shop. The shop is open. Binder is operating the shop, sees all of you come in, just does his kind of whistling, whirring sound that he makes whenever he acknowledges that you come in. There's a lot of noise upstairs.
Okay, running upstairs.
As you go running upstairs, Karina is handing out tea and drinks and food to a dozen fey creatures. On the edge of the veranda, you can see Brightquill silently asleep, hears you guys come in, and just mutters under his beak, "I'm tired, leave me be," and just kind of rolls over and tucks his beak into his chest and goes back to sleep. But there's at least a dozen other fey folk here. A couple pixies that are flying nearby, a centaur, 2 centaurs, and just the people that you guys rescued from the ship are all here. Karina sees all of you come in, sees how exhausted you are. Brightbeak just started dropping them off on the veranda late last night. I didn't know what to do. Brightbeak said it was because you guys blew up a ship and rescued Melody, and
it wasn't me this time. It wasn't me this time. I didn't blow anything up.
Oh, where's the professor? Is he okay?
Probably not.
No, well,
that gets Brightbeak's attention. His head arcs out of his feathery chest.
We don't.
And Brightbeak looks right at Karina and goes, "What do you mean, probably not? Where is he?"
I tell him what happened.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Leaps off the veranda and starts flying up towards the Chandei Quorum.
Wait.
Yeah. Doesn't even wait, just takes off.
Oh, crap. I can't deal with this right now. I need to go. I need to lay down.
Falling up with you. I need a nap desperately.
Melody, someone else is here. She's back in your room.
Ooh. Oh,
I don't know. She looks a lot like you.
I run up to go see her.
Yeah, you go running down the hallway. There's your sister sitting on the edge of the bed. She's got a couple journals out on your bed that she's making notes in. Your sister looks very different. As you stare at her, she is not in her normal bright, kind of vibrant attire. She is wearing travel leathers. Like, she's wearing leather armor. She's got a kind of like a leather dust jacket on. There's a big oversized leather hat that's fallen off to the back with a leather strap to it that's keeping it from falling to the floor. She looks exhausted. she looks tired. She just kind of looks up at you with a half smile and goes, "Hey, Melody, how are you?" She gets up and gives you a very kind of serious hug. There's no real joy in her voice compared to the last time that you two spoke. Silently over in the corner, you see her satyr companion leaning up against the wall, kind of nodding towards you. We couldn't talk at the Airy Spire last night. A bit of a commotion was going on. We set it down in the ruins down below, keep it hidden. We're here to... We originally came here, I think, to help you take one of your friends to safety. To the...
Rockhaven.
To Rockhaven, to Puck's place. It looks like you've acquired more Fae. Are you okay, Melody? You look so tired.
Not really. I got kidnapped last night by this asshole bunch of dwarves while I was out Collective. With a friend.
Is it the Iron Collective that snatched you, Melody?
That's what he said.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar.
They tried to invade our home, Melody. Me and our friends got them out. Everybody got out of the haven. They're all on Rockhaven now. That's our new home for now. There's a large nomadic tribe of people in the Hellcatch that we can also rely on help as well. This Iron Collective, for the better part of many weeks now, has been swarming up and down the Odorlin Wilds and going to the border reaches of the Hellcatch and seemingly fixated with trying to find Fae creatures.
We interrogated a dwarf who said he had found a sanctuary in the wilds. It sounded like where Mom and Dad live. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, they did attempt to do that, but we managed to get everybody out safely.
He said they captured people.
There were stragglers. We couldn't get everyone out. But hey, you're safe. Your friends got you out.
Yeah, but what are we going to do about this? Like, this is, like, completely unacceptable. Like, have you heard about this guy Spike? Like a Minotaur? That's sort of running this organization? That's what the dwarf told us. He said it's a Minotaur named Spike, meets them in the Odorlin Wilds, and, like,
all of our encounters with the Iron Collective has been us running away from them. The ship that you destroyed in the stanchions of the Airy Spire is but one of many that they have. I think they have like 5 of these airships that they use. All the reports are they are kidnapping Fae. I don't know what they do with them. Don't know where they go. We just do our best to rescue those that we can. Our family is safe. They say hi, by the way. They're expecting me to return with your Karina friend who's not Karina. That's the whole thing. But she explained it all to me last night. Anyways, my companion Thomas here, we can get all of these Fae out if we need to. We can do it tonight.
That's a really good start. That would be great.
I don't know what to do about this problem, Melody. I've never experienced this kind of such a desire to not even really do harm, just an obsession with capturing Fae. I don't know what it means. We don't have a home. Our home is on the back of a massive sauropod that wanders the Rumadon Desert at this point. And ever since the Feywild was destroyed 10 years ago, that even I'm surrounded by our people and I still feel so disconnected. I feel overwhelmed by the idea of what's going on, and I'm not really sure what to do.
I think we need to stomp this. Like, I think it's time to be done running away. We kicked one of their ships. There are 4 more. Yeah, we'll destroy those too.
I think for now, you saved some Fae. You saved me. And I can help return the favor by saving your friend Karina. The people of Rockhaven are led by an amazing person. She doesn't take shit from anyone. She's a bit of a rotten drunk, but it's okay. She makes up for it in her desire to find a missing friend. So as long as we help her do that, we have a safe place. Plenty of food, water, place for the people to work, and have a community. But it is good to see you, Melody. It's good to see you.
Is this what they're wearing in the Hellcatch desert now?
Some of the attempts to save our folk became violent. I, believe it or not, Thomas has taught me how to fight. And I'm really good with one of these. And she pulls out this big pistol from her back, and it's like this black powder pistol. He made the comment that I'm better off pointing and praying and spraying, he says, than worrying about coming in with a blade. Evidently, I'm really good at that.
So I gotta know, is this like a Walker Colt, like just a revolver the size of my
No, it's like more like a blunderbuss. It's like this hand pistol blunderbuss with a big funnel on the end. You know, you could tell it's just packed with powder and shot, and just creates like a 30-foot cone of shrapnel in front of her. And you watch as Thomas like winks at you, Melody, and then goes, better to keep her safe. She insisted in participating. I felt when we're running away from the Iron Collective, she is a good option to have in the back pocket.
This is pretty cool, and I feel like you can make the look work with some tailoring. Seems worth pursuing.
She like looks at her leather armor and
just like a little longer on the coat.
Melody, I do love you, but always so bright and shiny. Always so bright and shiny. Well,
am I anywhere? Are the rest of us anywhere near this conversation?
Yeah, you're up on the veranda level.
I didn't know if they were like in the room having the conversation.
Yeah, she had to go up the stairs. Well, no, because upstairs is all the workspace, like the engineering space, the arcane space, and the like tinkering space. So the third floor is where you kind of guys all work on things. The second floor, where the veranda is, the long hallway to all the individual bedrooms. So the door is open, and you can hear them all kind of eavesdropping loudly. Yep. Definitely.
For what it's worth, that artist is supposed to be here tomorrow, and I'm supposed to accompany him.
Which artist is coming?
That tiefling fellow, the painting one, Bragsworth.
Bragsworth is coming here.
Yeah. To be his guard.
Thomas like pushes away from the wall and comes close to Foreign. You're certain Bragsworth is coming here?
Look, that was what I was tasked with doing by Kalian.
When? When is his arrival?
Tomorrow.
Is he arriving at the Airy Spire or by some other means?
I was told to expect him at the Airy Spire. Now I'm not so sure now that half the Airy Spire is burned up. I planned on contacting Kalian to see if there was some further information necessary.
Ariana jumps up and runs over to Thomas and grabs his hand. We have to try. This is going to be our best opportunity. We have to try to get him.
Try what? Why?
Bragsworth is a tiefling of very specific ability and knowledge. We've learned recently that he may actually have an ability to access a gateway to the remains of the Fae. The Fae may still exist, and we think he has a gateway. We think he uses it to travel to different places to inspire his artwork, but we're not sure that his artwork is art, Melody. Remember the Shimmerling?
Yeah.
we found out that that was a painting of a Shimmerling that was in the backdrop of the artwork.
Uh-huh.
He went and captured one, put it in his painting, and the gateway that was attached to it failed, and the Shimmerling came out, destroying the gateway and corrupting the essence of the Shimmerling. Do you remember all of that?
So is he using creatures to create a gateway?
I think this Bragshaw has a connection with Spike, has a connection with the disappearance of the Fae and creatures being snatched. I think he is painting pictures of the Fae, trapping them in portals, and then using that portal as a means to travel to the Fae. I don't know enough about magic how he's doing it, but most of us pretty much agree. Puck said she wanted to use some very creative tools to get him to talk. Something about a tabaxi that she learned it from. I don't know much about this Puck, but she seems lethal, to say the least. I think if we can capture him, take him back to Rockhaven, and question him about where Spike is located, his relationship with Spike, more importantly, his relationship with the Greymakers. They are complicit in this somehow. Don't know for sure. They may claim that all they were doing was auctioning off some of his artwork, but I think there's more here. There's something that's connecting these dots. I'm just not seeing it.
You think you have to capture him to interrogate him?
I don't see how he's going to admit to any of this willingly. Do you?
Karina and I are pretty charming.
Well, yes, you're charming.
He's scary.
Yeah. I worry. I don't know his full potential. All I know is he's pretty powerful with magic.
Mm-hmm.
What's Kalion's skin in the game here?
Not entirely sure. I think Kalion is linked to all this either by circumstance or by opportunity. I'm not sure. I know you guys mentioned that Karina was stashed away up in the Chandei Quorum holding tower, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know.
Well, Kalion tasked me with keeping Bragsworth safe. So I'm not comfortable letting Bragsworth disappear out into the city when it's supposed to be under my watch. But if he were to never make it to the Ares Spire, I'd be off the hook.
But with all the damage, we can assume he's going to come by different means.
Right. Let me get a rest in, and I'll make the journey back up. We need to find out what's going on with the professor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get in now. I've got free entry into the Chandei Quorum areas in the core spire. We can get in there. I can check in on the professor and also see if I can perhaps have a conversation with what plans may have changed with Kalion.
Well, Karina, are you still okay with us taking Karina Prime tonight? Is there anybody else that we should bring with us?
I look at Marina.
Marina's like, if Karina's leaving, I'd like to go with her.
I will join you guys very shortly.
The Fae should go too. It's probably not safe for them here.
It's going to be a tightly packed group, but we will get them out tonight. I promise you.
I will ask my crow to look over them so I can make sure that they're actually leaving.
Okay, don't worry. We'll keep an eye on them, make sure they get out okay.
2 eyes if it ever grows back.
And I would like to ask Marina a couple of other questions about everything before she leaves.
Like, Ariana's like looking up at that crow. Just like, what the fuck? Its eyes like dangling on some tissue.
I've tried to kill it before. It doesn't work. It comes back
like,
every time.
Looks like it's already dead, to be honest with you.
Right.
I would have thought it was, except it spoke. So with that, who's all settling in for a long rest at this point?
I'm going to fix my pistol real quick, and then, yeah.
Okay. So Eritrea heads to his room to take a long rest. Foreign fixes his pistol, gets that hour in on fixing it, heads off to his long rest, his meditative rest as well. Karina, you go back to the veranda and find Marina in tow with you as you are, the two of you are out on the veranda, kind of like staring down at the busy streets at the Fate Walk Bridge.
So how have the weeks leading to the arrest been? Have you noticed anything unusual?
No, nothing at all. Didn't make any much sense. It's like, I want to say they mentioned something about complicit in helping somebody escape, but I didn't understand what that meant because they didn't really name any names.
It is possible that they think everyone there was complicit with helping Corina Prime escape.
Which means they think that they know that you're linked to this somehow? Or, I mean...
Ideally, they wouldn't know... Well, we don't really know who instated me when they took her. So I don't really know what they know.
Mm.
Do you remember anything from... Well, you knew a little bit about the people who came in earlier and brought me with them. And you knew early on that I was a changeling. Has that never any... do you happen to recall anything? I think somebody told me that they were not Fae, but from the Shadowfell.
So long ago. Not really sure if my memory is very good with what happened. I felt compelled to help. I remember that much. And I knew it was important to you. But I really don't remember much about the people that brought you, or I was content with just helping.
Was that compulsion... Did you feel like it originated in your own mind, or that it was imposed on you in some way?
I have no way of knowing. I do find it interesting that my memory of that moment is very fuzzy, hazy. Feels almost like it was purposely, like, overwhelmed on purpose. I don't know. It's strange.
Another thing I was told is that they are not Corina Prime's birth parents either. That Corina was actually born to a very bad person and moved around in relation to that.
Interesting. Is that Callion's involvement then?
It could be. I've met him. He seems very ambitious. I don't really know how he thinks this would help him, but he clearly thought that this would somehow benefit him.
So Callion has always known where Corina Prime is? And Callion recently brought her back to the city for some reason then?
It seems that way. When I first saw her, she was in some random building, and she was being moved through portals.
Being moved through portals.
She also appeared to have been, and I describe the castle that she described being in. Lastly,
held in a bastion of a fortress of some sort. This gets more and more interesting, but if Callion's involved and he arrested Corina's family, That means they are still under his control, under his ability to be influenced.
Honestly, I don't know how much they'd ever known. I always felt very bad for lying to them. I don't know what they knew and what they thought they knew. I would be very curious to talk to them, but it feels like maybe he has taken them with some hope that whoever took Corina might come back for them, so I'd have to be a little cautious about it. But I will get them back as well. Also, before I found Corina Prime, I've been told of another person who looked like Corina, like my version of Corina, who also had a strange bird, who had used magic for financial theft in a specific tavern. Have you ever heard any rumors about Corina walking around causing trouble?
Not specifically. I mean, we were getting your messages about needing money and your occasional calls. You got to remember, the family doesn't stray far from the upper tiers of the Chandei Quorum and the upper spire of the core spire. Everything we need is up there. There's no real cause for any of the family to come down this far. Your not parents thought you were simply being rebellious, I think.
Do you recall the specifics of each time that you got requests for money? I would just like to make sure that it was only the ones that I sent in and there were no additional ones.
There's a variance in the count. She tells you a number that is off by 3.
Okay, that gives me a clue. I also sent you a letter about, and I sent her a letter like very kind of early on that I did not get a return to. I also sent to the parents a letter at some point that I did not get a return to. Have you gotten it?
We had not gotten anything from you other than your most recent request to send money.
So it is possible that it was infiltrated in some way.
Intercepted? Found? It's possible, yes.
I gave Corina Prime a thing that can change her appearance and a thing that can make her invisible. Please make sure that both of you use it to get away if you need to get away. She also has the book. You can communicate with me at any time. If even the smallest thing seems out of place, please let me know. We will help you in whatever way we can. And for all the bad news, these are still good news. After over 10 years, we have made the most important progress, and we'll get everything else soon.
Well, I hope you know what you're doing. But getting everybody out, I think, for now is good enough.
Then she gives her a hug.
Yeah, she hugs you back and just kind of, I'm going to go talk to Corina now. It's been so long. And she kind of races out of the room and back down the hallway towards the veranda, or off the veranda, and goes to find Corina Prime, who's handing out.
I'm going to ask Abel to spy on them so I can hear what they are saying to each other.
Always with evil. Always with evil.
I love evil.
Professor Jalbatros. The wagon journey to the gondola, from the gondola to the long ride up to the familiar holding tower of the Chandei Quorum. You are led, not in shackles by any stretch of the imagination, but you are led to a kind of holding pen, a holding cell, basic rudimentary comforts. You're brought into a space that seems to have about a dozen or so wardens in it doing various odd tasks. One particular warden, she is annoyed. She gets up, and one of the sergeants that was leading you here, They exchange a quick conversation, and then she's got this look of concern on her face. You're placed inside the holding cell. The wardens are dismissed. The clang of the door and the lock, the metallic sound of the lock. So what is your name, sir?
Professor Thaddeus Horatio Elibelet Jabbertross.
And the sergeant tells me that you admitted to destroying the Ares Spire?
That is not exactly what I said.
What exactly did you say then, sir?
I said that what happened was my fault. It's not the same thing. I'm not quibbling, but would you perhaps like to get a zone of truth in here? Like any mage that can vouch for what I'm saying?
She points to the top of the holding pen. You can see a little sigil that is in the top of the holding pen. Oh no, if you were lying, that sigil would let me know that you were lying. So you feel responsible, or you're at fault, but you didn't do it on purpose. Would you kindly explain yourself?
There was a dwarven airship there. Crew of, I don't know, perhaps a dozen. I do not have names for you, but my companions and I went there. They were trafficking in kidnapped fae creatures. I had intended to cause a distraction. I caused a small fire near a cannon that they had, intending to distract two of the slavers. It worked, but I did not realize that they were as poor mariners as they were, and that they would store their entire magazine in a completely unsecured location directly under their main cannon, which caused...
I love how you're gaslighting the dead dwarves. That's great.
I'm a seabird. I know how to store things on ships.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Be nice, that's your brother.
So,
are you
before we go too much further down this conversation, are you alone, or did you have compatriots with you?
I'm the only one that has anything to do with the fire that happened. That is an unintended
You watch as the sigil above you goes off.
That's not a lie. They didn't do anything to spread the fire. They didn't do anything to cause it.
That's not what her question was, though.
No.
Her question was, did you have compatriots with you?
And I answered a different question. I'm not able to answer what she asked.
Very roguish of you.
I am extremely intelligent. I'm just not very wise.
Yeah, that's true. Professor, you're in a very difficult situation. There are 31 dead souls that are accounted for, hundreds wounded, and very mass scales of damage and destruction done to the Ares Spire. You say that you're at fault, but it was in the process of dealing with a group of dwarves on a ship that were in the business of kidnapping Feyfolk.
That's correct.
The challenge we have with this story is the evidence of this story. It'll take some time for us to gather up the proof. It'll take us some time to understand exactly what your involvement is.
I just point up at the glip in the ceiling.
I'm aware it has not gone off yet, but that doesn't mean you are not skilled in deceiving our magic.
I am not familiar with the criminal element in this town. I'm a bit out of my element, but this is... I know you don't owe me answers, but do you know of any dwarven captains of ill-repute? I wouldn't know him by name, but has anything like this come across your desk since the
crime knows all opportunities. There has always been unsubstantiated rumors of snatchings and kidnappings. We have yet to collect any evidence of its occurrence.
I find that difficult to believe, given that it happened to a few of my friends. I've only been in this city a month or so, but I know of at least 2 different individuals it's occurred to, one of them in my presence.
Well,
I find it difficult to believe a properly equipped constabulary would be unaware of these happenings. That is assuming you care.
I think you should find it difficult to believe that for now you're our #1 suspect in the destruction of the stanchions of the Airy Spire. You'll remain here until we decide otherwise. I count on your good graces and your behavior as proof of your innocence.
If I just kind of if I had any intention of running, I would have. I do not hold myself solely responsible, but this would not have occurred without my actions. Sure,
you hear a very loud commotion kind of interrupt your conversation. You can hear the screeching of an eagle. You can hear people yelling and a kerfuffle kind of breaking out outside of the door. She goes, "What is going on?" And she goes over to the entryway door, and there is Brightbeak. He's got 2 wardens pinned to the ground. The other wardens are attempting to come at him with spears. Crossbows are being loaded. The captain holds the door open and then looks at you and back at the griffin. Friend of yours?
Right, Quill. What are you doing here?
He stops. All the wardens kind of stop. She keeps the door open so that he can see you sitting in the holding cell. And she just kind of gives you a raised eyebrow, almost as if there's a bit of a sense of respect and curiosity at the same time. Brightbeak then begins to speak to you, and the others just like kind of stand away from the griffin. And your friends told me that you were taken prisoner for saving people's lives. That doesn't sound right to me. So I'm going to kill all these people and take you away from here.
Nope, that's not how this works. These are officers of the local constabulary.
But you repeatedly, when we were snacking on munchies, that everybody here is corrupt and they're all really bad people. The captain just arcs the other eyebrow and looks at you with a tilted head.
Brightbill also has low whiz, high intelligence.
Probably. No. This is the local constabulary. They're the law enforcers around here.
But you said Jrusar is lawless, and that only heathens and those who practice crime actually live here. You've told me this on numerous occasions, especially while I was dragging the dead bodies out of the portable hole.
No, Brightquill, come on.
At that point, like all the wardens, the captain, like passerbyers who are just like tasking things up and down the different stairs. Like everybody stops and the captain looks, "Oh, well, you and your friend have become very interesting to speak with. Kindly tell your friend to stand down, leave this place immediately, because I have questions, Professor. A lot of questions."
Right, Crow, can you promise not to do any acts of violence to these fine people? I need that of you right now. I'm trying to do penance for an ill thought out action. Noble as it was, it has had unforeseen and disastrous consequences. Do you understand that? Oh God.
Not really, but I'll stay right here until they let you out. And if I get hungry, I'll try not to snack on them. And he clacks his beak at one of the wardens, and just like it's like a thunderclap, just this clack. And the warden goes, hey, look, I didn't sign up for this shit. I mean, a talking eagle horse creature thinking trying to eat me. I'm not down for this, Cap. Just leave him be. Let him be wherever he wants to be. Professor, I have your assurance he will not try to eat anybody.
Breckle is his own creature, but I will don't eat any sentient beings, please.
Well, but you're always saying they're all idiots, so that kind of means they're not
sentient. You are taking my words out of context. I do not belittle the accomplishments of other beings. There are other professors whose opinions I find incredulous, just absolutely ludicrous.
Just watches the captain shut the door. Like just slams the door and is amazed that you two are still carrying on the argument through the closed door.
That's not what you said about Professor Thornville. Professor Thornville is...
with Eritrea and down for their long rest. Melody and Karina, anything you want to do before you take your long rest?
Melody, I think, would send the robot whose name I'm blanking on out for Binder. Would send Binder out for some more snacks and would spend some time before she goes to bed, just like trying to make the Fae comfortable, like playing some little Fae songs, just trying to put them at ease.
Yeah, give me a performance check.
All right.
Karina, anything you want to do before your long rest?
I got a nat one.
That one. You like it may be some of the worst passive musical playing ever, but the Fae are so grateful that they're not going to be sold off that you get the feeling they're pretending to like your music.
They're politely like putting up with it.
And the Centaurs are having a hard
They're clapping on ones and threes.
Yeah.
No. And eventually I'm like reading the room. I'm like, this is not going well. And then I go to bed.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm spent. And you're like, oh, my split ends. I'm out of here. You know, you just head to your room to crash for the night.
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk to make as many plan Bs as possible with Marina and Corina.
Okay.
Man, I did not plan on it to rhyme. And just like, if this happens, this is our meetup. If you can't talk to me directly, these are the code words. When you get to point A, like every milestone you move, you need to write in this book and let me know that you've made it, and you need to use these words to confirm that it's really you.
Okay. Okay.
And if you see anything that might be helpful in getting the parents out, you need to tell me as soon as possible. And this crow is going to follow you. It's a friend. If you have any issues, just talk to him. He can talk to me. It's just like being incredibly obsessive. And then once everyone is just like too tired to even listen to her, she's like, okay, I get it. And then she does all the 1,000,001 alarm spells. The cantrips. Tiny hut for those who are staying. And calls it a night.
Everyone go ahead and click off a long rest.
Yes.
Thorn, you can get rid of one of your
exhaustions.
Yep, one of your exhaustions.
So now it's nighttime.
Yep. Middle of the night. You guys stir to the sound of the soft city night in the background. You're woken by Ariana, who begins to kind of talk to you about the plan. Sister, wake up. It's time.
Melody wakes up.
Thorn and Eritrea are already out on the veranda. It is a bunch of people saying their goodbyes. You can see a Marina and Karina Prime saying goodbye to your Karina, who is being still even more obsessive, even after a long rest and getting her energy back. And the whole time, Evil's like, don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him. It'll be fine. I mean, don't worry. There's a sense of party. The Fae are covered in cloaks and other attire to keep their visages hidden. Thomas, Ariana's companion, offers up a strange lantern, a lamp that seems to, when he opens it, it allows the pixies to enter into it, and they kind of disappear, and he's able to close the lamp. The lit lamp brings off a facade of light, but you get the feeling that it is maybe a way that they smuggle Fae in and out of certain areas. Thomas leans over and gives Ariana a hug and a kiss. We'll meet you down below. I'll begin the journey. Once you're ready, come and find us, and we'll head back to Rockhaven. Thomas leads all the Fae out of the quiet streets into the Fate Walk Bridge. It's like that midnight hour, that late hour. The Fate Walk Bridge, while always popular, is much more diminished at this hour. You watch as floating discs are pulled out of pouches, and the Fae that can't fly are placed on these discs. You watch as these discs edge over to the edge of the section of the Fate Walk Bridge, and one by one disappearing over the edge until at last it's just Ariana standing there in front of you. Your friends are around you as well. Everyone's gone. Ariana looks at you and, so sister, I'm not going to say this is it, but I don't know how long until I see you again.
Message me more frequently than you did before.
To be honest with you, I saw some of the things that Karina gave to the other two. I think as long as they're in contact with your friend, they'll use the same method of speaking directly to you as well. I promise. I'll keep in touch.
Tell Mom and Dad I say hi.
I will. They'll be happy to know that you're safe and that you're doing what you can to save our friends.
I'll let you know what we learn here. I'm not going to sit around quiet anymore.
Don't think you should. There is a place called the Rift. It's the beginning of the transition out of the Odoran Wilds and into the Hellcatch. If anything goes terribly wrong, and I mean so wrong that you have no choice but to flee, you and your friends go there if you have to. We have friends there. I know it's a little close to King's Fall, but just avoid the capital. Stay in the Rift. You will find a nomadic community. You can't miss them. They often travel between the Rift, the Lunapa, the Rajama, and up towards the Mazagreen Valley. They are nomadic. They travel, and they never stay in one place for very long. It's a safe place. There is a young man there. Goes by the name of Hadim Windwalker. Seek him out if you need him, but he'll be the one that can offer you help if you absolutely need it.
Okay. I'll give her a big hug before she goes.
She returns it, kind of winks over at Eritrea and looks back at you and kind of leans into your ear. I mean, really, sister? Not yet? You haven't yet?
So what's going on with Thomas?
Oh, I assure you, everything. And she just smiles at you and like throws her hair back over her shoulder and pulls out a small metal disc, jumps on it, and it hovers her over to the edge. She kind of twirls a 180 and you notice that she kind of streaks some color on her leather, a little bit of rainbow across the front of her leather, gives you a wink and a smile, and just dips away from the edge of the Fate Walk Bridge. No sign of Brightquill, no sign of Professor Jalbatross. Late into the evening, the store is closed. The Fate Walk Bridge barely has anyone on it at this point. The smell of smoke is in the air. You can see the contrails of smoke of the dying embers of the Airy Spire kind of drifting off into the edges of the sky. What would you guys like to do next?
I'll turn to the group first, but the four of us here. Right, so Professor's up with the Chandei Quorum. I've got access, and also I need to find out more about this Bragsworth and what's supposed to happen there tomorrow, because I'm not opposed to him being intercepted and perhaps finding more out about this fella, but I don't want to put us in danger by bringing him all the way in the city and then trying to deal with him.
Your missive was to take him out on the town, right?
It was just to keep him protected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bad things happen to people in this town. Can't always be so sure of your safety.
Not all of us have access to money like you, hun.
Well,
what are you proposing? What are you proposing, Karina? Are you proposing something?
Well, I mean, if we're gonna help... Listen, if he seems like he likes to party, and he has a thing for Fae, and we just, let him have a good wild time until we find a window of opportunity that we maybe kind of lead him towards, and we either make him disappear, I can replace him for a while. I think we can probably... I think if we think this through, we can probably get him where we need him.
Well,
but first, we need to get the professor.
If he likes to party and he's partial towards Fae, Melody seems right up your alley.
I could spend some time with him.
Your sister and her friend's description of Bragsworth leaves me feeling he's a more sinister actor in this situation.
I read in a book once about a lipstick that has poison in it. How do you feel about old school honeypot espionage? Do you do you have the outfit?
I have all the outfits.
Oh, perfect. I think that's everything.
First, above anything, I would like to send a message to the professor to let him know we are looking for him and coming for him.
Why don't we...
Go ahead.
And maybe, I don't know if this will affect your message. We have the dwarf tied up somewhere in the workroom. Why don't we turn him in and get Professor Jalbatross out?
It sounded like the dwarf wanted us to report him to the warden. When we were speaking to him earlier, I mean, he very clearly said, "Go on, take me to the wardens."
Well, maybe he just thought we were too wimpy to kill him.
Us? No, we're bad. Everyone says we're bad. But also, I have to say I kind of agree with Thorn. I get the feeling that the police is a little bit in on it, and that they give them, maybe they pay them off or something.
Karina, is there a way you could somehow make it look like we have the dwarf's head?
Ooh. I have pretty good performance checks. So maybe with some help from an artificer, we can, kind of create some thingy-majing. What are you thinking?
If they're in on this, I want to try to call their bluff.
Oh. Well, we can certainly try to make something. Let's see how.
But I'm open to ideas. I'm open to ideas.
Couldn't we, if that was the case, couldn't Corinna just take on the shape of our dwarf friend there?
I don't want to go to jail, man.
I don't want to go to jail. She says it like she's been there before, and she really doesn't want to go
back. For what it's worth, you certainly
like,
wouldn't be there alone.
I mean, we can certainly try to call their bluff. Again, my concern is we don't know, like, they could move the professor to a different jail if they sense that he knows more than they think they might, if they can try and pin the whole thing on him and make an example out of him. I think we're kind of running against the clock, and then we also need to do this before Bragsworth comes back.
What is the disadvantage of presenting this dwarf? Like, if they're in cahoots with him, they'll let him go. Like, worst case scenario, we'd knock him on the head again.
But they'll arrest us.
Well, I think he'll tell them that we did this and that they'll side with him. If they already have the professor's confession, I don't think the dwarf would collaborate our story, and I don't think he'll get in trouble. I think.
What if we brought him to Fabian, and then see what strings Fabian can pull?
Kind of on Florence' point, don't you think you should go as the dwarf, Karina?
I don't like where this is going. I said no.
What if they're not corrupt and then it's just Karina arrested?
Okay, I'll do it. Fine. Okay. But if I'm going to jail, you better.
Well, we don't have to.
As much energy to me as you're doing to the professor, because I'll know if you're not.
It's the food. I hate jail food.
I guess if I get to go to jail, I can find my parents. Whatever. If this is how you guys feel, I'll do it.
I mean,
of course, I'll do it.
You could also get paid, good job,
What if I cast suggestion on the dwarf? I can suggest a course of activity to him, and it lasts up to 8 hours if it works. And say, well, I suggest that you turn yourself in and confess to everything.
I am still concerned that it will come back to us once he snaps out of it and talks to them.
It's too late. People get confession remorse all the time, probably. I don't know. I have no idea what she's talking about.
Jalmatros did that without having remorse.
Yeah.
He confessed.
Oh, he had remorse.
Okay, how about I'll pretend to be the dwarf, and we're gonna assume that he's corrupt, and I'm gonna say, hey, this is all a big misunderstanding. My friend just did a bunch of shrooms when this started, and he got really confused. You know me, you know my people, and if they go against it, I'm turning invisible, I'm running, and all of you are going to jail. I'm never looking back.
So what is the advantage of you going as the dwarf, just so I understand, is that if we think they're in cahoots with the dwarf, they're going to have a conversation with him where they're like, hey man, you're good to go?
Yes.
Do we want to ask this one more time to make sure that this is a good plan?
We could interrogate him first.
Let's try to charm him real quick.
All right.
If he collaborates this, then I will do it. But once again, if this doesn't work, I will be so mad.
Okay.
Or alternatively, I will sell you out for a corn chip.
I'll sell you out for a corn chip.
Does anyone have something that would give this guy like disadvantage on a save?
I don't think so.
The challenge you have, he's also a dwarf, so he's already got he's got resistance to charm.
Yeah.
So any charm effect, he's gonna have advantage on.
We can just kind of, punch him a couple of times like last time. Maybe that'll work.
He seems very proud after being kicked in the head by a satyr.
Yeah, let's give him a concussion and see how that goes.
Does he have disadvantage if he has a concussion?
I mean,
some
say the dwarves are built of rocks.
So what if I disguise self as one of the other dwarves on the ship and act like I'm like breaking in to recover him or something?
Ooh.
Oh.
The captain was killed. I mean, would Karina be better at that? Because she could just literally take on that man's.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be. Yeah, Karina would be a natural at that.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Ooh, okay. I'll try that. That feels
okay. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Fun.
Okay.
So what are you doing?
While we're doing that, let me head up to the Chandei Quorum and see if I can't check in on.
I'm going to send a message to Jrusar that just says, "Don't incriminate self."
It's so late in the game.
It's like way behind now. He's already done this all. We're coming to help you. Let us know what you need. And I think he can respond in kind.
He's got 25 words.
25 words, yeah.
Let me plot this out real fast.
I like that Eritrea is like the long-suffering lawyer of our group. He's always like, "What did you tell the authorities? How are we going to get you out of this?"
You have the right to remain silent.
Yeah. And I recommend you do so.
Yeah, my message is actually just as Miranda rights.
Yeah.
Question is, what does Jrusar say back?
I think he's typing it out.
Oh yeah, he's like, well,
that name.
So, Foreign, you're heading up to the Chandei Quorum, or are you waiting for Eritrea to get a response?
Well, I still need to meet with Kalian, and I'm not gonna bring him down here. Last time we met, I mean, he said he knows the place, but I don't want to bring him anywhere near the place.
Fair enough.
And if I can go up and just meet him in his office, I meet him in his office, in the rotunda.
Okay. That leaves Melody and Karina and Eritrea waiting to see what Jrusar has to say.
Did Karina Prime say anything to Eritrea before she left? Was there a kiss on the cheek or anything?
No, nothing.
She's like, "It's been a rough day."
I woke up with lipstick on my face.
Okay. I got my response.
All right, let's hear it.
So, a little late for that. I am responsible, however unintentionally. But proof of dwarven fey trafficking and attempted murder would be nice, which I believe is 21 words.
I relayed back to the team what I heard from him.
So Jrusar saying, "Hey, I need some evidence."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll message Kalian as well that I'm coming to the office about Bragsworth.
Very good.
With my
I await. Yeah. Can he reply or just hear it?
Nope. Just the one way. Yep.
Yes, I'm gonna turn into an old grumpy dwarf and pretend to break in.
Tattooed and like riddled with face stuff on your outfit. Don't forget.
Oh yeah.
Oh, can I use my last 4 words to just be like, "Someone please feed Bright Quill"?
Oh.
Hey, bugger. It is me, your captain.
Yeah,
I'm here to save ya.
I'm imagining Bugs Bunny right now.
Just
Do I need to roll?
Don't forget the carrot. You got to make sure you have the carrot too.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, my character has the accurate feat, not me, okay? Speaking of, I get advantage on those things when I'm pretending to be someone else.
Ooh.
So, who are you communicating with, Karina?
So, I guess the plan was the guy is like bound in our basement.
Yes, that's true.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna pretend to be his captain, which I turned into at one point before the fight.
Yeah.
I should be okayed it, and I'm just going to pretend to try and get him out so we can get some information out of him. And if that doesn't work, I'll try to charm him.
Okay. You head down to the back side of the ground floor. There's a little kind of like cellar area that you guys keep inventory, extra inventory. Go down the short steps, and there's the dwarf all trussed up. He looks up, and he looks genuinely shocked. Like, Captain, is that you? It's you,
Well,
Captain. What are you doing? Have you come to finally get me out of this daft place? These
what
people
you
are
think?
crazy.
What you think, you daft bastard?
But I want to know why you let these fey creatures run amok and do what they did. They destroyed our ship. Where are the others? Are the others still left alive?
Oh boy, it's pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
It's going
But listen, at least the authority is on our side, right? Wink, wink.
Yeah. You pay them enough gold, they should turn the cheek for sure. I'm surprised they let it even happen the way that they did. That Madrina was the one that I think caused the problem. Somehow they discovered what we were doing. Just get us out of here. Get us up to the quorum, and then we can find a way out of the city. Go find old Spike.
Sounds like a plan. And then I go next to him, and then I take a pan, and then I whack him in the head.
Bam! It like lets off like this hollow sound. His eyes roll in the back of his head. He's just unconscious. Not dead, but unconscious.
And then I do it again.
Do we read from that the authorities are already in their pocket, or that he's like, yeah, they would be for enough money?
It seems
Sounds like he's saying they're price susceptible to bribery.
Okay.
Okay, I don't love spending my money, but I'll do it. I guess I care about y'all. I care about you guys. So
well, there's no, to our knowledge, is there anyone left to bribe the guards? Like, are there dwarf kidnappers left to bribe the guards, or is there no incentive to protect them?
Well, he said Medina something. What did he say?
Medina was the problem?
Marina.
Oh, Marina.
Wait.
Marina was the... Wait, what did he say exactly?
He said Marina was on to it. Like, Marina is not going to allow the payoff stuff so much. Sounds like she's actually trying to be a good part. But
he's like,
he said, get us to the quorum.
Ah. Okay. Well, okay, so maybe we can go to the quorum. I can pretend to be him. And while we're at the quorum, I'll be like, actually, a friend of mine who is also working with us was also taken. So, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't have much. I might have 1,000 and something gold left, you guys.
Oh, only.
Well, I had 5,000 2 sessions ago.
What did you spend it on?
Stuff.
What she's wearing stuff. Born, as you approach the mid chambers of the Chandei Quorum and coming up the stairs, you're being escorted by wardens to Callion's office. You hear Lord Callion's voice. Yes, allow him entry. Warden opens the door for you, and in you go. Lord Callion's behind his desk. He looks tired. He looks distracted. He looks up. Yes, Fawn, what is your requirement? What do you need?
It's actually more just to check in. So, the fire at the Ivory Spire, you'd mentioned I'm supposed to pick up Bragsworth from there tomorrow, and at this point, I'm not entirely sure. Beg your pardon. I'm sorry, sir. You look exhausted. Is there anything I can do?
Not particularly. I'm going to show you Bragsworth will arrive at the Ivory Spire tomorrow afternoon. We've already isolated the area that will have to be rebuilt. The northern stanchions are still functional. We've sent some ships away, some back to Vasselheim, some back to their origin of Taldori. Sir, I need to ask you a question, Fawn. Do you know someone by the name of Professor Jalbatros?
I've heard the name, yes.
Do you have a relationship or knowledge of this professor?
Besides the fact that he's a bird man that seems to be in strange places at important times, do I have intimate knowledge of him? No.
Interesting answer. You should run for council. Well, never mind then. Just a thought. What is your plan? Where do you plan on keeping an eye on Mr. Bragshaw?
I've made a few contacts in the Lantern Spire that tend to do well with showing people a good time in Jrusar. I believe you may know one of them at least, Fabian.
His responsibilities are familiar to us.
Right, so...
And he's hot as fuck, too. So, yes, I am aware of that.
So, Bragsworth sounds like he's a very hoity-toity type and may not enjoy my company, but I have noticed that Fabian is quite smooth talking with you uptight types up here from the spires. So, we can give him good conversation, and I believe I have some friends that went to a couple of spas near there that had just the most delightful time. They talked my ear off about it. Personally, not my thing.
Yes, I understand. Well, he's only going to be here for a couple of days for you to keep an eye on him, so not to worry about that.
But I ask, what's his business here?
Give me a persuasion check on that one.
Okay. That's not great. That's an 11.
A rabbit hole for rabbits. Not.
Oh, trust me, it's not a rabbit hole I'm chasing. It's more interest. You know, I did put down that shimmerling.
Let me just assure you that the person that he's meeting with is important, and that's all you really need to know.
Beg pardon, I thought he was meeting with you, sir.
I am only as important as I'm allowed to be, but he is meeting with me, but I am a intermediary with a conversation with a separate gentleman. And this meeting and these involvements must maintain its secrecy, and that's the most I could tell you. I tell you that much to make sure that you ensure his safety and that he is taken care of. Upon his arrival here tomorrow, he'll be off your hands for a short time when I come and collect him, and then I will bring him back to you for you to keep an eye on him until his departure in 3 days' time.
Understood.
As far as his proclivities, he enjoys drinking, all manners of carousal, gambling. He's fond of dice. I would call him a person of narcissistic self-interest and always in a persistent need of having a good time. Your job is to keep him alive.
That may be the easier part of it. Entertaining his type is not really my forte, but I may know some people.
Oh, I don't know. Find some spice, go to a whorehouse, and find a gambling den. These artists and creative types are all alike. On the front, their facade of pomp and prim pageantry, but deep down, they're all just crazy party people.
So take him to the bellows of the smolder spire. Got it.
That is a good spot to go to, yes. No, I don't believe anyone would believe that they would need to find him there. That is for certain.
Now, I've got another question. I came across this name, and
you have a lot of questions for someone that has a very simple responsibility.
I understand, but you know, this is look. Take this in lieu of payment. How about?
What?
The name Spike came up lately, talking about some great big minotaur, and he's very interested in fate folk. And given my background and my
that's a very shitty deception roll. Your passive insight picks up on a subtle shock at the name, which to you sounds like acknowledgement that the name is known to him, but he's trying to pretend as if it is not known to him.
Now,
sorry, the name is not familiar to me.
You're sure about that? I picked up on
a name like Spike in the hands of a politician sounds like potential trouble. So no, I can assure you, I'm not familiar.
Well, there was something about this dwarf and some other dwarfs that was working together. They called themselves.
Good evening, Fawn. I will let you know when Bragsworth arrives. You may show yourself out.
I'm gonna try and drop one of my tokens, but in a nonchalant place, not on him, but like in
right. Sleight of hand or deception, your choice.
All right, let me see which one I got the better score.
A tooth just falls out.
Like he sneezes and the tooth like embeds into the buckboard, like the wood of the wall.
Going for sleight of hand, that's a 19.
You casually let it fall behind a kind of like potted plant sitting next to a chair, and it falls in such a way that he's already turned away from you to go back to his desk. Like he wants you gone.
Okay, so I get that dropped off and I get out of the room. I'm gonna ask the guards, like, you know, where can I get to where can I find the holding cells? I may know someone.
Which ones do you be looking for? The tower cells or the lower cells?
Where do you keep birdmen that start fires?
He's talking about that silly just be mindful of his griffin. He's being held in the central tower. I can't miss it. You'll see a big old bird curled up, staring at a closed door.
No.
Right. Very well. Thank you, folks. And I'll start heading towards the towers.
Kind of head out. At this point, would the air trio Melody and Karina deception begin? Are you guys on your way to the holding cell to present Karina as the dwarf?
I guess.
So confident.
I think so.
I'm asking, not telling.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably about time. We're trying to move on this quickly, right?
Yeah. And as you come out of the Chandei Quorum council chambers and down into the open courtyard, coming across the open courtyard, you see Air Trio, Melody, and a familiar dwarf in tow, who seems to have their hands tied and is being led by Air Trio and Melody in the direction that you're going. The four of you meet up as you run into each other on the way.
Oh, good. Hold on a second. And I'm going to like put my arm around Air Trio, because when I'm in the trance thing, I can't like see or hear anything.
Right.
So I just like throw my arm around him just so that we can move or whatever. But then I'm going to burn the token that I just dropped in the room.
Okay. There are...
So see and hear for 1 minute.
Yeah, there are two wardens you don't recognize. They are accompanied by a woman that you do not recognize. They're having a polite conversation with each other. And you can hear Lord Callion, you promised me no witnesses. You promised me that this would be taken care of. The dwarves were good at their job. And that things would move along. I'd be rich and everything would go back to normal. Your lordship, I do apologize for this subtle inconvenience. But I can assure you that we have a handle on things. Even now, my people are preparing to deal with those that were witness to this. And may I also say, sir, that my personal gratitude if you would allow me to dispatch of the professor to make sure that no additional witnesses can be pulled into this failure of the Iron Collective. My master, Spike, would be most grateful for this opportunity. Not quite sure why working with you and your friends was so appealing to me now that I stare at the abyss of this all falling apart. I don't mind or care for the Fae. I could care less what happens to them, but my power, my ability to take this council over is in jeopardy. Then you hear a fourth voice kick in. Lord Galleon, perhaps this new bounty hunter that you have hired would be better fit to take out all of these witnesses. He seems skilled with a rifle. And you recognize it as Crimp's voice.
Oh.
Do you tell us this real quick?
That's when the minute cuts off. When
yeah.
Says that.
Yeah. Oh shit. Right. We need to get the professor out tonight, right now.
That's what we're doing.
So no, you don't understand. I made the visit to Kaleon earlier.
Yeah.
I dropped a token in the room before I left, and I was just burning it up. Sorry, I got to catch back up on everything here. Now, they know there were more witnesses to whatever happened. The Iron Collective is trying to remove any witnesses. They know the professor is a witness, and now I assume they suspect there are other witnesses as well. I frankly, I don't know that your sister might not be in danger, given that the Fae were removed from the boat, from the airship. So perhaps, I don't know if they know about them, but as well, they know the professor had other people with him. So if we're going to go in and see the professor, we're going to put ourselves... They also asked me to kill y'all, but it was...
What?
It was Crimp. It was Crimp that brought that up.
That is so uncool.
But now we know Crimp.
So are we still doing this?
Okay, all right. No, we can't do this anymore because they're going to kill us. So we can't be friends of Jalbatross. We have to break him out, but we have to look different than we look right now.
Gonna turn into
I guess you could still look like the dwarf if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Technically, only Melody, Thorn, and Eritrea kind of need to look like something else.
Yeah.
They could just be delivering a dwarf that they believe was part of the disaster that took place.
Go
ahead.
No, I was gonna say I can try and use a performance check on disguises.
I mean, I think I have disguise self.
So, I have disguise self as well.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Someone's gonna need to. Someone needs to dress me up.
You watch as Eritrea.
Should we go see Fabian?
You watch as Eritrea reaches into his bag. He looks around like a sneaky bugger, and he puts on a pair of glasses and mustache.
The big nose.
Okay, I mean, it's not going to work.
Have a disguise kit available if you choose to, try to come up with a way of disguising yourself.
Maybe it's fine if just Forn and Tally and Forn and Karina and I all look different. We're just like random do-gooders turning in this dwarf.
What if you guys pretend like you're turning in me?
But why?
I was at the fire, and I don't know. I'm all out of ideas.
I was gonna suggest I'm somewhat known around here now. At least Kaleon knows me. I can try to go in ahead and deal with the professor, or check him out to be dealt with. Perhaps I can flash my badge and because I do have a quorum badge now. I could flash my badge and check him out so we could deal with the witness to this issue.
It does kind of sounded like they want you to take care of killing us, which means that you could go kill the professor and just kind of smuggle him out.
But Forn hasn't even he hasn't gotten that order. He just heard that Wolfram suggest it.
And it would also potentially, if they catch wind of you doing anything suspicious, they might cancel your job with Braggsworth.
But I still know where he's coming in, so.
It's true. I don't mind doing plan A, but also I don't mind doing a plan B. So you guys decide what you'd rather do.
I think that we do. They're trying to find the other witnesses, so we don't want to be associated with Jalbatros because they'll come. It'll be obvious who the other witnesses are, and then they'll come try and kill us. So I think we should try and disguise ourselves if we can.
That sounds good. And I do have. Can I take somebody with me?
What should I disguise myself as?
A human. Disguise yourself as a human.
Well, have you got some flight in you? Do you want to just kind of fly up the side while we take the direct route, and maybe you can help?
Actually, that's an excellent idea.
Okay, just put your hood on or something.
Not only are you beautiful, but you're brilliant as well.
You watch his mouth, he comes out, pulls his hood over, and looks at him, and then pulls the hood down in front of him.
That should do it.
Nobody recognizes him now.
As you guys approach the holding cell, you can see Brightbeak is currently curled up into a giant feather ball. He kind of picks his head up, sees you guys walking towards, sniffs at the air, and then just calmly goes back to sleep.
Maybe you can smell me. Concerning.
For the griffin or for your hygiene?
Both.
Are there guards here, or is it just Brightbeak?
It's just the door into the inner holding area. You get the feeling that no one wants to be near Brightbeak, so if there are guards, they're probably inside.
Hey, you bastards, let me go. I'm telling you.
Okay, good call.
Karina, give me performance or deception, your choice.
And I do have advantage if I am pretending to be another person.
You do have advantage. This is true.
So good with the changeling.
That's going to be 24.
Nice.
The door flies open. You can see the captain standing there. What is going on?
Sir, I don't know. Is this where we should report? We found this dwarf. We heard he was maybe one of the slavers on the ship that exploded. Can we drop him off here?
Oh, poppycock. Oh, nonsense.
Bring him in, I guess. Wake up, Birdman. It seems that a dwarf is being delivered. So describe what Professor Jalbatros sees as you guys are coming in.
You see a fabulously gorgeous, redheaded human woman with Pixar body proportions.
Pixar body proportions. That's got to be one of the better descriptions I've ever heard. And who's all bringing in Karina's dwarf form? Is it just Melody doing it, or who else is there?
Foreign, you're there, right?
Yeah, but I was going as Foreign.
Oh, what? Why?
Self?
I thought we were all doing disguise self.
I could. I was saying I was going in ahead because I was going to meet with the professor specifically to say, hey, you guys are bringing in this other person. I'm going to say, you know, hey,
we'll say that it's
I did
you,
get wind
Airtrail,
from
and
Kaleon
Serena.
about
Thorn, you're already inside. We'll say that you're already inside. And just as, you know, you're convincing the captain that everything's okay, you hear this gruff dwarf complaining about being rough-handed. And then the captain opens up the door, seeing Melody's form and whatever Airtrail looks like, kind of ushers the three of you in. And Professor Jabatros, your friends are what feels like attempting a plan. And you've seen their plans before. They are 50-50. Probably the best coordinated plan was the one to free Karina Prime from the
That was
Tall
real
Tower.
good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've broken up multiple people now.
I'm getting a lot of Three Stooges energy from in there. That's
pinches the bridge of
basically Karina's accent like the door.
Like, oh no, who is this ruffian you brought into this building?
Oh, I recognize you, bastard. You tried to stop us from exploding the city. Oh, I mean, no, I didn't do that.
The captain walks over to the cell and opens it and directs the wardens to put the dwarf inside the cell with Professor Jabatros. And as the dwarf goes in, the door is shut. We will figure this out in the morning.
Oh,
I show
God.
you.
Oh, what?
Hey, alas, you come here often?
Is there some kind of reward for turning in the dwarf?
A reward?
Yeah.
Tell you what, once we get down to the truth of all this, and if there is a conviction and if there is proof that this dwarf was directly involved, then we shall discuss a reward, of course.
How many people how many guards are there?
There's about a dozen guards inside the holding area, but they're all like doing different tasks. They're either making patrol rosters or going through parchments, like they're reviewing information. The captain's like standing kind of in the middle of it all, just kind of, you know, one hand on her hip, just kind of leaning and talking at the three of you. Thorn is in the backdrop. Like Thorn is like, yeah, he's already in there. He's leaning against the wall as if he's waiting to have a conversation with the captain, perhaps.
Okay. Are we gonna let Thorn kind of handle it? Okay. Go ahead.
The professor, like, when you two walk into the cell, the professor just kind of motions up to the glyph in the ceiling. It's like, I can honestly say I did not expect to find you here. I must say, and then just kind of
points at the glyph of warding. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if the bribery can work now. So, say ya, lass, what's your name?
Captain Taisha.
Taisha. Whoa, that's my sister's name. Anyway.
Your sister's name is Captain Taisha?
Well, she's a complicated sister. Anyway.
Can I just unfurl my wings so that and try to cover the glyph on the steel?
Oh no!
You're pretending to stretch, and your wings are kind of like ruffling up at the top of the ceiling. Yeah.
You know, I know how this works. I've been here before, and I kind of gesture at my money bag.
Give me persuasion with advantage. Because you do have.
She's got good persuasion.
Yep.
Oof, 15 is the higher one.
Jesus Christ, Eugenie.
She looks at you and then looks at the other guards in the room. Gentlemen, kindly see to your rosters outside, if you would, please, and check on the equipment and tack for the patrols tomorrow. Check on the armory as well. Take your time. They all kind of smirk and smile. Of course, Captain. Understood. And before long, it's just the captain, all of you, and Captain Taisha comes over to the dwarf Well, how much are you offering to get your ass out of jail for this one?
Well, let's see. How about a down payment of 500 gold, and my buddies will get you the rest after I'm out. You know we're good to go. You know we're good for it.
Someone's gonna have to fall for this fire that broke out. Shall I hand them the Professor Jabotros here?
I have somebody better. Somebody that I actually think knows something and could do us all a big favor.
Can you make that delivery tonight, I hope?
Sure. 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 Wait, how do dwarves say sure?
Sure, I can do it.
Sure.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Sure.
Let me just put my foot up my own arse. She looks at you, takes the gold, unlocks the cell door, closes it after your leave. Very well. Come back with your replacement. I shall then let the professor go, and we will have our head upon which to hang somebody.
That's why I like you, Taisha. Just like I like my sister. And then he walks away.
Super cringy look on
So
her face.
weird.
So wrong. It's so wrong.
Like, oh god, these southern outlying areas are just so weird.
This isn't Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Very smooth dwarf. He really knows how to.
Yeah, eventually you guys head back. You take control of the dwarf yet again. Because I'm assuming that's who you're going back for, right, Karina? Is to get the dwarf?
I guess it would be strange if it's the same. Yeah, I guess we can put. Let's say I was a different dwarf. And
yeah,
then...
like there's a slight spin on your look upon coming back. Eventually, you guys deliver a rather incoherent and barely conscious dwarf. Taisha and the Wardens kind of accept it and kind of put the dwarf in the holding pen. He's mostly out of it. They release Jabotros, and Taisha says, "Pleasure doing business with you, as always. Good luck. Stay out of trouble." Shuts the door, and then opens the door and goes, "Please take this bird with you as well, this thing, before it gets in trouble." Brightbeak immediately springs to his feet, sees Professor Jabotros, comes running over him. You guys are like expecting this like big embrace and this amazing opportunity of empathy and warmth and kindness from Professor Jabotros and Brightbeak. Brightbeak just stops short, headbutts Professor Jabotros, and says, "Quit getting in fucking trouble," and then flies away.
Karina goes to the professor as if to hug him, and then she says, "You owe me 500 gold, and I charge interest by the day."
Just punches me right in the solar plexus.
With that, you guys head back to the prancing Back to the prancing Senator to have a spot of something to eat, to drink. And now that Jabotros is out of trouble and the proper dwarf has been placed in the custody of the Wardens, feels like a good spot to finish tonight.
Can Karina just real quick check her diary to make sure that everything is going okay with the group that was left the city?
Yes, all your preparations seem to be fine. Your connections are all working and no seeming threat whatsoever. So everything seems fine at this point. So with that, everybody, thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. You guys go ahead and hang out. Everyone else, be kind, be safe, and don't forget to play a game. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Almost got to it. Almost got it.